Oh, what shall I do with you? Maybe we should build a big fire, and I'll throw you in. The life in a monastery is the life of community. It is not, I mean, the Westerners like to, that is my task, that is his task. No. Everything, that needs to be done in the monastery is our task. I think it's not the first time I told you that. So if you see something that is not done, then you go ahead and do it, no matter, whose task it is. I mean, it has never been in Pantat, that this person has this task or that task, except for a few, the secretary of Lunta Mahabor, and the Praveen, of course. But if the Praveen is missing, somebody else has to take his task. If the Upatak, is not coming, somebody else takes it on. Get rid of this thinking, That's not my work, somebody else should do it, or somebody else's duty. No, it's all our duty. We live as a community and we should act as a community, and not as singles, that have specific tasks in this community. Is that understood? No? And where's your motivation for your practice? It's all gone? Not motivated anymore? You don't want to get free? I mean, just sit down, I mean, after the talk tonight, sit down, for 10 minutes, and look at the obnoxious kilesas when you try to stay with your Buddha or with the breath, and then ask how long I'm going to take up with it. You like it? Because they promise you heaven, while they give you hell. Now, the only thing you can do is promise, promise, promise. If I do this, if I sit correctly, I will get into Appana Samadhi. No, if you stick with the Buddha or with the breath, then you will get into Appana Samadhi. Not if you follow, if you follow the instruction of the kilesas. And everybody, I mean, it's not only that it happens to you, it happens to me. Happened to me, They tell me, you don't sit correctly, you should do it like this, you should do it like that, I mean, it's such a nuisance, Or if I go out, I mean, it's so painful, maybe tomorrow it is better, maybe I should sleep, I'm already tired, and so on. And we just follow it, we just sign up on this. on these suggestions of the kilesas. Yeah? And that's where we run constantly into trouble. Yeah? I mean, we have to resist the kilesas, yeah? To resist this voice that constantly, infiltrates us and suggests this and suggests that and promise this, yeah, and promises that. Yeah? That diverts our attention. Yeah? Daydreaming. Why do we daydream? Why do we go into the past? Why do we go into the future? Because, the first noble truth is right in front of our eyes, dukkha. That's why we go. There's no other reason, yeah? Why we go into the future or why we go into the past, yeah? Why we look, for some dreams or why we daydream? Because the reason is dukkha. We don't want to see the dukkha. We don't want to see and understand the first noble truth. Oh, it's so painful. Oh, it's so discomfort. Yeah, that's dukkha. Yeah, dukkha is the first noble truth. If you understand, there are quite a few good talks about dukkha. If we understand the more we understand the first noble truth, the more motivation we have, to finish this dukkha. Yeah? But we constantly latch onto something else, that leaves us momentarily off the dukkha, yeah, by diverting our attention. Yeah? Of course, it is not easy to bring a mind that is constantly wandering about, back to the Buddha or back to the breath. Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, it wasn't easy to learn to walk. It wasn't easy to learn to talk, but we still did it because we wanted to do it. Yeah. And this desire, yeah, wanting to learn to meditate, it is not as strong as wanting to learn to walk or to talk. Yeah? And that's why it doesn't, that's why we don't see any progress. Yeah? We don't see progress in our concentration, and especially, we don't see any progress in our sati. Yeah? And sati is, the number one topic here. Yeah? I can't even get beyond sati because, how can you see the things, that I'm talking about if you don't have enough sati? How can you deal with the difficulties that are ahead, if you haven't dealt with the difficulties that, they're just in front of your eyes? Mm-hmm. Sati, knowing. Yeah? Knowing the breath goes in, knowing the breath goes out, knowing that the breath is deep or shallow, yeah? Knowing that the Buddha is fast, knowing that the Buddha is deep, yeah? That is the knowingness that we are wanting to develop, yeah? To foster, yeah? But we rely, this knowing, yeah? It is a little bit different from the normal day or knowing. Yeah? I know this, because I read it in a book. Yeah? We have only one word for the same kind of thing. The knowingness, or the sati that we develop comes from the heart, that knows. Yeah? And that is our refuge. Yeah? We know things, yeah? Even though we cannot explain how we know. We still know that we know. Yeah? So, certain experiences, that happen in our meditation, we just know. Yeah? But the kilesas, are coming in instantly, the moment we experience something and put a label on it. And through this label, we are deceived. Because then we forget the experience that underlies that label. Yeah? And the label is never, fitting. Yeah? Never fitting 100%. It might come close, yeah, but it will never fit the situation. Yeah? So just keep with the knowing of these things. Yeah? And there's one great thing about this knowingness. Yeah? This knowingness, we cannot doubt it. We can say, no, I haven't experienced it. But we know we have experienced it. So how can you doubt it? But if you only believe that you have something experienced, then of course you can doubt it and it instantly falls apart. If we think, we attained Sotapanna, and then we say, maybe it wasn't, and then we got shaken up, then we know we haven't. If we know that we have attained, to a certain stage of freedom, then we know it, and that the whole world can come, including our teacher, telling us, that's not true, but we know it is true. Or the other way around, if our teacher, tells us, you have Sotapanna, you have reached, Sotapanna, and we know we haven't, So, this knowingness, that's what we have to develop. And this knowingness gives us a lot of freedom and gives us a lot of leverage against the kilesas who constantly, try to think it out or try to deceive us with their kind of knowing, that comes from books or from conversations or from whatever, Or from even listening to talks, Then we think we understood, But actually we know that we have not understood because we have never made that kind of experience. So developing sati, developing this knowingness is of utmost importance. And it's not the first time I tell you. Tell you over and over again. Reflect. You need motivation in order to foster this sati. So reflect about your life. Why did you ordain in the first place? Why did you come here to this monastery? What is the purpose of your life? Why were you born? You're just waiting for death to come around, And then, what's then? That's the next birth, And the next birth. Running in the hamster wheel, running in the samsara, One time being there, one time being there, and then coming back. Experience, the fruits of our karma. In this life, we experience the fruits of our past lives, the karma of our past lives. And in the next life, we experience, part of the fruits of this life. If you develop sati, and start to do investigation, investigation of our life, you can do that anytime, You don't need a lot of concentration. Well, we can do it, We can go back, when we were born, and then, or go back, what happened a year ago, or 2 years ago, and then 3 years ago, and 4 years ago. We need our memory, and that's how we train our memory. We also train our memory by doing the daily reflection. That is so difficult. It doesn't let us see what happened today. During the meditation, we don't need to do the reflection. We just need the reflection. What did I intend? To meditate on? And then, Why did I get up? Why did I stop meditating? And the rest, if we meditated well, we know already. And karma is something that we need to understand. We need to understand that there's nothing coming from outside. All the results of our karma come back to us. It's not somebody does something onto you. It's you who did it. And the results of your doing comes back to you. No matter if the results are words that you uttered in your previous life, or the results are deeds that you did in your previous lives, or the results are thoughts that you thought in your previous life. Whatever you thought about, in your previous lives, will come back to you. Yeah? Karma always comes back. Yeah? So that's why the Lord Buddha taught us, there are three kinds of karma. The karma of thought, the karma of speech, and the karma of action. Yeah? And if we would understand that in the depth of our heart, how can we be afraid of anything? Because only that, what we have done unto others, will come back to us. Yeah? Nothing new, nothing other. Then the result of our own actions will come back to us. So there's no need to be afraid of anything. The only fear that we should have as practitioners is that we haven't practiced enough before we die. That's the only fear that we really should have. Huh? That we haven't given our utmost effort, to get free. That's the only fear. Yeah? If we die anyway, there's no help for the fear. Yeah? How we die, if we get sick, everybody gets sick. Yeah? Why should we be afraid of that? Yeah? The only fear that we should have is, that we haven't done our utmost, that we haven't put our utmost effort in our practice. Yeah? That's the only fear. Yeah? When we are going to die, then we are going to die. Yeah? The way how we are going to die, is already pre-programmed in our body. Yeah? So, we shouldn't be afraid of it. It just comes, If we are actually, if we any moment, if we have sati any moment, it just passes by. Yeah? We are just realize, okay, now we are dead, and let's see, what is the next thing. Yeah? If we have a long death, we can prepare ourselves much better. Yeah? Death is always coming, but death is no. We find the word death, in our understanding has something of final. There's nothing final. Eh? Everything changes, yeah. From death changes into birth, and birth changes into death. So where's the problem, of death? Yeah? Pain we will always feel, yeah. If we sharpen our wisdom on the investigation of pain, then we don't even have to feel the pain of death. Yeah? We didn't feel the pain of birth, we just came out, nearly died, yeah, because the pain was so great, but then, so what? We forget it. Yeah? It's the same with death, The moment we are dead, we forget about the pain that leads to death. Karma, this kind of karma, this kind of explanation of karma is something, we really have to deeply consider and contemplate on it. Yeah? Nothing else can happen to us than what we have done unto others. That's why we have the saying, don't do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. For whatever happens to you is what you have done unto others. Can't get clearer than this. Yeah? And if we know that, if we live by it, every moment when we realize something happens, something good happens, something bad happens, we realize, that's the result of my action. Then we can actually, if something bad, we can look, what kind of action leads to this kind of karma, and we could see it in our heart when the heart is calm. The same thing for good karma. If we like to have it again, then we look, what kind of, action leads to this kind of good karma, and then we can do it again. It would be so simple if we not all the time, are somewhere else, yeah. In our thoughts, they constantly, promise us the Holy Land, yeah, or the Holy Grail, or whatever, however you call it, yeah. Practice is Yeah? It's about, developing sati, and then once we have sati, developing wisdom. And developing wisdom, we start, the first part of developing wisdom is, of course, is the reflection of our lives, yeah? What have we done, What do we want to gain from this life? That can be, if we are not monks, yeah? And if we don't have the desire to disrobe, then we can ask ourselves, what else do I want from this life, yeah? So that it doesn't become a waste, yeah? What else do I want from this life, yeah? The other type of reflection, what happened today, yeah? What was I thinking? What was I doing? What kind of effects or results does it have on me or on others when I was in action with others or communicating with others? I mean, being aware, yeah, I know it is not an easy task, yeah? Being aware all the time, yeah? What is going on? Before we open our mouth, knowing that we want to open our mouth, knowing that what we want to say, and assessing the situation, maybe it's not good to say it and to shut our mouth, yeah? But our mouth, opens before our brain starts to work, yeah? That's a problem, yeah? If somebody says to us, we are really in a catch-22, yeah? We just respond, yeah? Because that is our normal habit as robots, yeah? Respond, yeah? You type a key in the computer, and it responds with this kind of action or with that kind of action, yeah? And there we have to put a break. We don't want to be computers, we don't want to be robots. We want to be human beings who are aware of what they're doing, why they're doing, and with what effect it has. Isn't that? Or you want to sleep away the rest of your life, and just wait until you crash the next time? Huh? Something very unpleasant happens and, you wake up, oh, why did it happen, Huh? And you find some blame with others, yeah? That's when we actually wake up from our robotic life, it doesn't take very long, until we fall asleep again. Yeah? Somebody who's constantly aware, is somebody who's awake, yeah? Why do you think the Lord Buddha was called the awakened one? Huh? That means we, as non-awakened ones, are fast asleep. No? Thinking that we are awake, yeah? Thinking that we live, yeah? Thinking that we are doing something, thinking, yeah? But thinking, if you have noticed it by now, in your life, it's not going to solve any problem. Yeah? It's just eluding us, yeah? Just making us, or has the intention to make us feel secure. Yeah? But this thinking is never secure, because it can happen differently. Yeah? No? We all know it from our lives, we thought, this is the right action to take, and then, yeah, we thought, then we did it, and it turned out not to be the right action. So, if the motivation fails, or if it is, if you have a hard time, you get your motivation back, yeah? There are several ways, yeah? Looking at your life is one way, yeah? Looking at the reflection, is another way, yeah? Actually, there's nothing else happening than breathing in, breathing out, yeah? What is so difficult about it? What is so difficult, yeah? When you look, you're in the middle of the meditation or investigation, and you think you can't go on. Just have notice, be aware of your body and say, what is wrong? The body is still there, yeah? So what is actually happening? It's a magic trick of the kilesas, yeah? That they fool us with to comply with their thoughts, to comply with their suggestions. Yeah? Nothing happened to our body, even if we think it is so difficult. What is so difficult? Breathing in, breathing out. How can that be difficult? Repeating the Buddha, how can that be difficult? So what is difficult? What is this mountain that we think it is in front of us? Yeah? This mountain was built by the kilesas. Oh no, it's so difficult, it's so difficult, it's so painful, yeah? But what is really so difficult, what's so painful about it? There's just one more breath, there's one more Buddha, that's it. Huh? And if you don't believe it, be aware of your body if it's still there in one part. If it's still there in one part, so what is so difficult? There's one way, to check out reality. Yeah? When you think, oh, I can't go on, or I'm so tired, then think about something interesting, and then you notice you're not tired. Huh? You can go on for hours, if you let the mind walk. Yeah? If the kilesas like to do something, they don't get tired. Yeah? But they make you feel tired, because they don't want you to do the Buddha or the investigation or the breath. Yeah? You have to see through slowly. After all these years of practice, start to see through, through the deceptiveness of the kilesa. How they deceive us all the time. How they suggest all the time. The Dhamma just knows, it doesn't come out in thoughts. It's the kilesas who bring out, experience, make it Dhamma. Yeah? And then you instantly know, that's a thought. Huh? That's just a thought. Has nothing to do with reality. Yeah? The experience, of course, is our experience. And that's what we should focus on our experience in the meditation. Yeah? Also, the experience when we think, it's getting difficult. What is the experience like? Yeah? So, in that moment, focus, be aware of the whole body or the whole breath body or whatever you want. Yeah? And then feel, where's the difficulty? In that moment, it's gone. And then you try to concentrate again on the Buddha, and then, it's so difficult, it's so difficult. What is so difficult? It's the kilesas complaining that they can't play around. That's what it, yeah? And then they tell us, it's so difficult, yeah, not to be able to play around. Huh? Wake up, yeah, really. Develop sati, not only this mechanical meditation, that doesn't develop sati, yeah. We need to concentrate, yes, that can be mechanical, and it gives us some calm, because the thoughts are not so much anymore, and then we stop, yeah. Instead of observing, each slice of the breath or each slice of the Buddha. Yeah? That is, this is tedious, yeah? Of course it is tedious work, yeah? Because the kilesas constantly interact, yeah? Constantly resist our effort of trying to concentrate. Huh? Resist our effort of knowing, constantly throwing us, sticks between our legs. Yeah? Making it seemingly difficult. But we should be cleverer by now. Yeah? Understand that? Huh? No? Hey, wake up! Huh? Huh? So, I don't know how to wake you up, huh? What can I do? Huh? Putting a bomb there, maybe that wakes you up. Huh? Once you have to gather all your parts of the body, put it back together, maybe that gives you an incentive to wake up. Yeah? Anyway, so close the talk. Yeah? Nothing more to say. Okay, you can leave.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
I want to have...